Welcome back. Today we're reading Chapter 8.
Slaves' Rebellion.
Hopeless, muttered Cindy as she gazed through the mica sunglasses at the boiling river in front of them.
No,
shouted Big Lars.
look there.
Across the river was a natural stone bridge, which arched about 6 feet above the flowing molten mass. It looked strong enough to support them.
But how could we ever use it?
Demanded Cindy.
Why, the heat from the lava would burn us up. By golly,
Agreed Lars.
Cindy be right.
No, Alex said.
If the professor said there was a way to escape, there must be a way.
Oh, smirked Cindy.
And do you believe you are brilliant enough to figure out what he could figure out? Really, Alec? Well, I'm not giving up,
he replied.
Didn't the professor say, don't throw in the sponge? What sponge? Oh, Lars,
Cindy said with a gentle laugh.
that's just an expression. It means don't give up. No,
shouted Alec.
That's not what he meant. Of course it is, silly,
insisted Cindy. Alec didn't reply. He was hurrying to the point where the professor had been seized by the bats. Alec looked for a moment at the low, rocky hill from which the mica sunglasses had been made. Then he moved on. Another outcrop of rock rose nearby. It was a porous type of volcanic rock. Alec observed like a pumice or tufa. Then Alec saw the chip marks where Lindenbrook's pistol had hacked off samples. With the pistol, Alec now chipped at the lightweight stone.
Here's the sponge we are to throw in,
he called out triumphantly. Lars and Cindy exchanged mystified glances.
Feel this,
urged Alec excitedly. Lars held the stone. He was amazed at its lightness.
This stone is light and highly absorbent. If we and the other slaves could jump the guards, we could dump loads of these stones on either side of the natural bridge over the river of fire. They would absorb the lava, which would lower the heat, so we could cross,
exclaimed Cindy.
That's positively boss.
Alec beamed. Professor Lindenbrook would be proud of him, if it worked in time to help them save the professor. He hurried the others back to the slaves' resting place. The exhausted slaves were still lying on the ground in the big hollow that served as their camp. While Gertrude offered a loud quacking to keep the guards from hearing the conversation, the 3 explorers went from slave to slave, explaining the daring plan.
Up!
Shouted the patrolling reargs. Their lances poked the slaves unmercifully. Back to the lava field they marched, filing by the rearg guards, who counted them by touch. But now, as they hacked away at the lava, the slaves secretly cut out great chunks of the sponge stone. They placed the lava slabs on top of the stone, so the inspecting reargs would not realize what lay beneath the slabs. Alec had cleverly taken advantage of his captor's dependence on the sense of touch. When Alec felt they had secured enough sponge stone for the plan to work, he signaled the slaves. The upraised club in his hand was seen by the slaves, but not by the sightless Reargs. With a sudden shout that shocked the sound-sensitive Reargs, the slaves raced at their masters. Big Lars was in the lead. Fists flew, hands grabbed, heads butted, feet tripped. The Reargs used their lances viciously, stabbing, slashing, and swinging, but they were greatly outnumbered. Soon, they were being pulled down by the inspired slaves, who saw suddenly a chance to free themselves. One guard, however, swung his lance like a club and struck down 3 pygmies who were chasing him. Then he dashed towards a small box to one side of the lava field.
It must be an alarm,
warned Alec when he saw the guard racing toward it.
We can't reach him in time,
exclaimed Cindy.
Gertrude, stop him,
commanded Big Lars. Sensing the excitement, Gertrude quacked loudly and sped into the air. Just as the Rearg's hand reached for the alarm box, Gertrude's bill pecked hard at his fingers. He screamed, pulling back his hand. Gertrude's black-ringed eyes lit up with pride. Again and again she pecked. The guard swung blindly and vainly at his tormentor, but Gertrude had gained enough time for Lars. His huge fist struck like a bolt of lightning. Down fell the guard. The alarm did not sound. Quickly, Lars shoved the guards together and bound them securely. Meanwhile, Cindy and Alec were passing out the mica sunglasses. The one-eyed men, the giants, the pygmies, all the strange underground races who had worked as slaves for the Reargs took the sunglasses eagerly and hurried to uncover the sponge stone. "This way!" beckoned Alec as he headed for the natural bridge. Behind the youth was a long line of varied-looking people, each with his eyes covered by the sunglasses, and each bearing a large chunk of sponge stone. "Here, by golly!" cried Lars as he hurled into the river the great piece of sponge stone he carried. Splash! Splash! The first slaves to advance felt the searing heat and stepped quickly backward after throwing in their stone. "It's still too hot!" cried Cindy, backing away. "We will never be able to cross." Join me again for Chapter 9.
Lava pit.
The story's soon to come to an end. I hope you'll join me next time for Chapter 9. Thank you for coming. Have a great day, or night, wherever you may be. We'll see you next time.